We have a bell for a reason. Take your seats.
I'm here!
Good morning, class. We have a new teacher joining us today.
Hi. My name's Pete. Mr. Parker.
I could have fixed everything! I'm the hero. I don't get saved. All I wanted was to save everyone. MJ, May. Now the city thinks that I'm the problem, but I'm not anymore. I'm finally everything everyone needs me to be.
Can anybody... I need your help. Mr. Morales, is it?
And what about MJ? You could have killed her! I know you're hurting, Pete! But you're better than this! People in my life, they keep dying. I blame myself for that. We've got to be stronger than that. This time, you have to save yourself.
I'm gonna start this abrupt in the only way I really know how, because I've told myself I will not come back to content creation until I can get this video done. So, hi, how you guys doing? I'm Game Potato, or Daniel, whatever you want to call me, it doesn't matter. Obviously, by the title of the video, I'm giving my review on Marvel's Spider-Man 2, and I know it's been out for, what, 3 or 4 months now? Trust me, I know, but I've had such a hard time trying to tackle how I feel about this game because I want it to be genuine. Obviously, when it first came out, we're all super excited about it. It's a brand new Spider-Man game, and holy shit, there's Venom, and you get to play as 2 of them, and the swing is faster, yada yada, whatever. So I told myself I would wait until the 1 month mark of the game's release to sit down and write the script, edit the video, and do the voiceover. But I still feel like I didn't truly understand how I felt about the game. When it first came out and I finished my playthrough, I genuinely thought that this game was going to be Game of the Year. Not just my personal Game of the Year, but the one that everyone would unanimously decide was the best game of 2023. Obviously, it wasn't.
And the game of the year is Baldur's Gate 3.
And I'm still just a little upset over it, you know, GG's to Baldur's Gate and all, but, you know, me personally, I thought Baldur's Gate was kind of mid. I did spend about 3 hours of my gameplay just running around killing off anyone that potentially had more riz than me, but only because I wanted to be able to hook up with any female side character that I came across. Anyway, that's completely besides the point. The point is, Spider-Man 2 won me over in just 48 hours. There's something about the story I genuinely just adored, and I couldn't get enough of it. Something about the combat advancements and the traversal mechanics I found myself getting overwhelmed with, but also completely enthralled. Every bit of this game, from a gameplay perspective, truly more than the previous 2 games, made me feel like Spider-Man. Boom, there's the title card, roll credits, there's the thing everyone has been saying since 2018. I get that phrase has completely lost its meaning now, but I mean it with all sincerity and lack of irony that this game makes you Spider-Man. I don't want to spend my whole review talking about gameplay, though, because we all know it's fun and fast and, oh, tentacles and lightning, haha, very fun. It's the story that's where I want to drag your attention to. Now, before you go into this thinking, oh, I'm just going to glaze it because I'm a Marvel fanboy, and you might not be, so this video won't be for you at all. But let me start by reminding you I've spent every day since the release trying to figure out what exactly makes me love this game so much and how I should be able to express this to you. I also want to remind you that it's a form of art and it's all subjective, so if you don't agree with everything I'm saying, that's fine. Because I get it, man. Something for you just won't resonate the same way, and you won't get the same feelings or care for the same characters the same way. Maybe you do, and just something about this game made you not want to care. That's not for me to say, and I don't want to try to make you feel like you're not as smart as me because I picked up on cues and saw something in the story that you might not have, because it's not that. If anything, I'd bet a lot of you are a lot smarter than me. But it's art, and the way I looked into this canvas, and even now, months later, there's just things I believe are truly beautiful about it, and I want to share. So, without any more rambling or procrastination, Here's my review on Insomniac's Spider-Man 2. The story here, absolutely, for every reason you can think of, shouldn't be able to land the way it does. It's got so many elements and new characters to introduce and so much ground to cover with each character that by all means it should not make sense. From the start of the game, we've got a story about Miles trying to adjust to this double life with a college essay to finish and responsibilities as Spider-Man he can't ignore. He's got the loss of his father and friend Finn from the last 2 games. He's got to learn to move on from that while being reminded of the very things that took those from him. He spends most of this game deciding his responsibilities as Spider-Man come before the life of Miles Morales. He wants to get into college and spend time with his friends and make his mom happy, and we always see him putting Spider-Man first. It takes till the very end of the game for him to finally take a chance with the girl he likes and to be there for his mom to make her feel comfortable with trying to move on after the loss of her husband. This is something I think gets severely overlooked in this game, and I think it goes that way for a reason. One of the first interactions we get with Miles and his mom is her trying to get him to be there to meet a guy she's taken an interest in. This is her trying to get Miles' approval, with her finally moving on and trying to be happy again. And despite him telling her that, yeah, he'll be there and he'll put time aside for her, it takes till the very end of the game for him to do this. I think it's poetic in a way, really. Miles has come face to face with the man that took everything away from him. He has to fight him while also struggling with this internal battle of how to move on from such a loss. And while his mother is trying to get him to accept it because really she just wants him to be happy, he can't even move on. And loss is very, very special like that. I think this game has put it in one of the best ways I've ever seen in a long time that really resonates with me. He knows he can't move on from that loss, that he can't just put it behind him, but he's done letting the anger from it, the regret, the guilt, all that hold him back anymore.
I won't forgive you. It's just not in me. But I can't carry this hate for you anymore, man. So let's set things right. You and me.
He chooses to give the man that took his father away from him a chance to help his friend. He redeems Martin Lee in a way that even Peter acknowledges he has never been able to do before. I think it's beautiful that you have to spend so much time with Lee as Miles learning to move forward for both their sakes, before he can even let himself be Miles again. And I say this because he actively avoids that throughout this game. The very thing that put him face to face with Lee was him choosing to ignore that college essay because he didn't want the stress of it, and he would honestly rather go out and just be Spider-Man. Now, with Spider-Man in this game, Insomniac has shown they are not afraid to show us the more human side of these characters and the moments that we get to experience outside of the suit, behind the mask. And in this game, you don't get a lot of that from Miles, and I think that's for a reason. He's at a point in his life where he's not exactly sure what he wants to do. He's got a lot that he feels is weighing him down, and he's so uncertain that he's not sure what to do anymore. So he sticks to the one thing that feels like will be right no matter what, and that's being Spider-Man. Rio tells Peter in this game that all he wants to do is be a better Spider-Man and live up to what Peter is, and he can't truly do that until he has that moment with Lee when he finally lets himself be Miles Morales. Now, I know I've done nothing so far but talk about Miles' story and his arc, but I'm getting to Peter, I promise, here in a second. I just feel like going over his arc first makes the most sense because on paper it's the most surface level, on top of the fact that Miles doesn't necessarily get sidelined, but the main chunk of the game is all about Peter. Not just about Peter though, but also about Harry and the one and only Craven. I'll get into Venom, but that'll come whenever I get to it. Just let me get through the script, okay? Now, with Miles' chunk of the story, you get the idea that this game is all about trying to better yourself and move on. And with Peter's side of the story, you get the idea that it's all about second chances and redemption. At the very start of the game, you get to see Peter take another chance at a regular working life on top of being Spider-Man. I mean, We all know how well this normally goes, so when he's fired on the very first day, it doesn't really surprise anyone. Yeah, it sucks, but I mean, helping out as many people as Spider-Man will always take priority in Peter's eyes, and that's what will always throw him off his balance. It's from the very beginning of the game that you get to see that Peter is getting tired and has completely sidelined his personal life for the needs of the city as Spider-Man. You get the echoes of him wanting to put the mask down and try to have a normal life, but he doesn't believe that's possible at all since he's been doing it for so long. He's also not sure what else he can do to help people since that's really all he wants to do. But that's until we finally get to meet Harry. The reunion we get in this game is done in the best way I think Insomniac could have done it. The gameplay here is incredibly well done. You get to manually control Peter as you ride a bike through town, sneak around Midtown High, and reminisce about old times with Harry. This all could have just been done through some QuickTime events or cutscenes or expositional dialogue, but they don't do that. They make you play through and be a part of the memory and the experience so you get to feel with these characters and feel for what they're going through and the bond that they have. So when you end this segment and Harry offers you another chance with him, another job to be able to help people, you as a player genuinely want to do this. And when you do get to visit the all-new Emily May Foundation named after the people in both Harry and Peter's lives who have made them want to be better, it's almost impossible to want to say no. This is that second chance that Peter has been looking for, and it's also Harry's. After being in isolation for so long and being sick and unsure if he'll even make it out, he now has a chance to do something that will make a difference. The Emily May Foundation makes Peter feel like he doesn't have to be Spider-Man his whole life to make a difference. And all while we're getting excited about this, a new group of baddies makes their way to town, and they're all led by a man who is also wanting a second chance. Kraven the Hunter coming to New York for a second chance at death. He finds out he's sick, and there's absolutely nothing he can do to cure this illness. But that felt unfair to him. He felt too accomplished to die slowly like it was for nothing, so he decides that he wants to go out his own way. And he comes to this jungle of skyscrapers that is New York to find a beast that would give him that death. It parallels Harry's story so well, and the overall theme here for most of our characters of redemption and second chances. Kraven is a man doomed by an illness and decides he wants to go out on his own terms, and here is Harry, who has gained the ability to cheat death, to bypass this illness that he has, all with one miracle cure: the Venom symbiote. This cure is currently giving a man that was doomed by an illness the ability to finally cheat death. On paper, it's the exact thing that Kraven would want, but it ultimately ends up being the very beast that gives him what he truly desires. And this game's biggest downside, if you ask me, is the pacing. So when I got to this chunk of the script and wanted to really dive into the effects of the symbiote on Peter and how it changes him and the people around him, what it's meant for the arc that he's going through in this game, I just didn't know how to properly go through it. I could go beat for beat and tell you everything that happens and go in full detail, but A, that would make this video over a few hours long, and B, I think I can do it some good and kind of sum it all up in a few paragraphs, so I'll give it my best shot. I've already talked about the Emily May Foundation and how it's shown Peter how he can help people and heal the world without needing to be Spider-Man. And the reason I bring this up is because throughout the game, Pete feels more and more like he doesn't need to be Spider-Man anymore. Maybe it's because he's got Miles now, and maybe it's because he's just getting tired, or maybe Yuri Lowenthal doesn't want to be locked down to this character for another 2 or 3 games, and maybe a few other spin-off appearances and whatever Insomniac is cooking up, but I don't know. What I can tell you is what we get in this game and what we see, we can truly feel for him. He's trying to pick up the pieces after May's death and figure out what he wants to do. The life of Spider-Man is one he knows won't allow for him to have a whole lot of balance, not the balance that he wants. After the events of the first game, we find out he still does absolutely blame himself for all of it. Pete feels weak, like there's not much left for him to do, and then he gets a hold of the symbiote after being shown just how weak he really is. And side note here, because I am a huge Spider-Man fan, and anyone who is going to try to bash me for calling him weak just because he got stabbed by Kraven. I'm not saying that. I'm not talking so much physically, but I mean more he's mentally drained. He's getting tired, he feels like he's being stretched thin because he can't find the right balance and really doesn't know what to do to get his life back together. Then he gets that black suit and everything changes. Suddenly, he's stronger, he's more confident, he feels like he can do it all alone again and save everyone. But deep down, he knows he can't. Deep down, he knows he can't save the one person who truly needs it, and that now is Peter Parker. The first game went out of their way to get us out of the suit to really get and feel for what the life of Peter Parker is like and to care for who is behind the mask. In this game, once he does get the symbiote suit, he almost is never out of it. There's a few scenes here and there, but you get the idea that he likes this new suit, maybe a little too much, like he wants to be more with it. It makes Peter get cocky and he's less considerate despite it doing no more than really just making him stronger. It does affect his mental state, but I love when stories go down the route of this is what your kind of power can do in the wrong hands. It's a beautiful play on the with great power comes great responsibility motif. And in my own headcanon, that's exactly what this game is doing. It's showing Peter what he could have turned into if he let himself get consumed by the rage and the hate and regret and desire to keep all of it from ever happening again through sheer force. Spider-Man to me is a character defined by how he can pick himself back up. Because at the end of the day, he still chooses to try to be better. I know we've all been through endless amounts of shit, but at the end of the day, it's about what you become from it. It's about what kind of person you choose to be when it's all said and done. So, given that Pete has spent the start of this game feeling weak, like he's not much needed anymore, and like he needs to find this new balance to make it all work, then to get that suit and ignore all the things that were holding him back and just to focus on being stronger and care less for what others think because he knows what's best, because he's the hero, and then to actively tell yourself you're not worthy of saving because that's your job. That's downright depressing. To know that that's what he's been doing since May, just bottling everything up and trying to push forward for other people because they need him, it makes me hurt. It's very human to do, but it's also very selfish. So when Miles finally gives him the push that he needs to take it off and to do the right thing, you would assume he's gonna get better, but he's not. The suit didn't make all those thoughts appear at random. It didn't create the feeling of loneliness and weakness and regret. It only amplifies it. And we get to look into Peter's mind and see that he feels responsible for everyone who has ever died, everyone he has ever locked up. It's almost terrifying in a way. But the one that hurts the most is the one person he couldn't save, and it's Aunt May. Seeing him still so beat up over it, still taking all the blame for it, seeing how it parallels what Miles is going through, that ends up being Miles who has to save Pete not once but twice, it's beautiful. I can't find words to fully explain it. Then to see how all this also parallels Harry's story is something else. I've gone over how Harry and Craven's story twines together, but the story of Harry Osborn and the creation of Venom I feel is done very well in this game. Harry finally gets out of the treatment, and the first thing he wants to do is to help other people, to keep them from ever experiencing what he just had to ever again. He genuinely wants to heal the world. You see how excited he gets when he finds out what this treatment can do for him, and how thrilled he is at the idea that he can help people even more than before. So when it gets taken by Pete for a while, we start to see him lose that confidence. We know he needs this treatment for his illness, but it's not just that. It seems like he starts getting depressed and losing hope for all the things he was dreaming of. We see him get mad at Pete, at his father, MJ, and even Miles to a certain degree. He feels like he's being cheated in a way that hits him personally. It feels like his best friend is going against him, like he's being left to die, and there's nothing left for him to do. So when he finally gets the suit back, when Harry starts talking to the symbiote, and it promises him this opportunity to heal the world, he can only hear his mom. He can only do what he thinks is right. And he's not a bad person. His motives are almost entirely selfless, but they're morally unright. But he wants to be the hero, so he's gonna do what he thinks is best for everyone around him. Now, I wish I could go into more detail about Venom and Craven and all that, but the pacing just doesn't give these villains a whole lot of time to develop. Now, I know I'm skimming over quite a bit of it, but this video is already as long as it needs to be, and I'm trying to start wrapping this up, so here we go. Spider-Man 2 is about identity and who you want to be. It's about being the best person that you can be despite of anything you've faced before and who you used to be. It's about facing the things that eat you up inside and letting someone help you. It's about not forgetting the things important to us and to do right by those we've lost. About being better for the people around us because of the people around us. Spider-Man 2 is all about being greater together. Thank you all so much for watching, and I know this is kind of a cliche way to end the video, but I just wanted to add some closing thoughts, mainly for myself, since I think statistically speaking, on like these video essay kind of deals, people stop watching the last like 2 or 3 minutes anyway. But either way, this video took me way too long to make, and it's simply because of the fact that personally, where I am in my life right now, it hits a lot of marks for me. The beauty I see in this game's story comes from the fact that I feel like I'm going through most of this as well right now. We're all humans, so we're all going to feel like we're not meeting expectations, and maybe we could be doing better somewhere else or for someone else, but this game has helped me understand that finding that balance you need isn't something that you just get done, it's something you gotta work on, and it's something you keep working on to try to be the best version of yourself that you can be. The upload date has its own significance that I'm not going to go into. If you know, you know, but most of you don't, so don't even think too hard into it. It's more of a symbol to remind myself that I am doing better, and I will keep doing better, and I hope that in some way this video has inspired some of you to want to do the same. And I mean, just like the marketing for this game says, we can all be greater together. I truly believe that. At heart, I want to help everyone I can, because, I mean, hell, when you help someone, you help everyone. And I just feel like it's wrong not to use whatever ability you have and whatever power, if you want to call it, to do what's right and to take that responsibility. It's insert Uncle Ben quote. Either way, again, thank you for watching. If you did like it, then leave a like. If you didn't, well, then that's what the dislike is there for. Also, feel free to express yourself in the comments. I do look at all of them. It's not that I get a lot, but regardless of what you have to say, I'll read it. Subscribe if you are new and you want to see what else I do, but I mean, just a heads up, these style of videos are not my normal. Maybe they will be if this does well and I have an interest in doing it for another game in the future, but for right now I'm going to take a break because this video took me well over a month of editing and script writing and hours upon hours of sleepless nights just to get this video done just right in my mind. I'm such a perfectionist, I know. Either way, I do hope you enjoyed. I'm done rambling now, so all of you have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.